All right, welcome down everyone to another episode of Those Nerds You Know. My name is Ethan.
I'm Eddie.
And I'm Nick.
And we are Those Nerds You Know. Thank you so much for joining us for another week. You've heard a new voice on the podcast. We've got a new guest in with us. 2 guests in 2 weeks.
This is happening
what?
a lot. I don't know if I like this or not.
It's great. It's good. It's a good time. Anyway, this is our good friend Nick. He's joining us today.
Hello. I just gotta say I have a really big smile on my face. I'm really excited. This is fun.
Good. We're glad to have you here. I called in for some backup because our topic today, as you've seen on the title, is Zelda. We're going to be talking about the history of lore, and we're going to be talking about all kinds of wonderful things about it. And I'm more or less a noob in the situation, but Eddie knows a lot about it, and my good friend Nick knows a lot about it as well. So we brought him along. That way, it's not just me being lost. We can have 2 people have an intelligent conversation, and I can just jump in occasionally and say some stupid stuff. But yeah, that's about how we're going to go into it. Before we get into that, though, Nick, tell us a bit about yourself. It's the first time on the pod. Defend your nerddom. Why are you a nerd that we should know?
Oh boy, where to begin? Okay, well, I was born in Japan. That I'm just kidding. I wasn't.
Oh, I was about to be like, whoa, what?
No. A real nerd.
that's where that's
The
like
weird.
Nerd HQ. Okay. So, boy, it's a broad question. Where do I start? Okay, I play video games. I play a lot of video games. I love Nintendo. I have a Nintendo Switch right now and a PS4.
Good choice. I really want a PS4.
Like I said, I love cartoons. I love Rick and Morty. I used to love The Simpsons.
I think most people used to love The Simpsons. I don't know why they're still on.
Steven Universe is great.
I've heard good things. I've never seen it.
And I also love anime.
Right.
The animes I'm watching right now, I'm watching a lot. Megalobox.
No, I don't know.
It's a boxing one. It's a boxing
I've heard
anime.
of that. I have heard of that.
Where the boxers, they put on like an exoskeleton type thing and they box with those.
Yeah, I think my significant other is telling me to watch that.
It's good. It's like the art style is like Cowboy Bebop / like Outlaw Star. It looks and it kind of feels like a 90s anime.
Gotcha.
Sounds
kind of cool.
But it has the benefits of being not a 90s anime.
Yeah, I feel ya.
So yeah, that's great. I'm watching I think Sword Art Online Gun Gale. I'm watching that one.
Okay. Is that like the second season?
Yeah.
The spin-off.
My Hero Academia season 3. That started up.
That's good stuff. Do you read the manga or do you just watch the anime?
I just watch the anime.
Okay, so the 2 of you are okay.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry.
I read the manga, so
yeah, and my favorite. Okay, so I'll just tell you my favorite stuff. My favorite games. My favorite games of all time is okay. It's a tie between Breath of the Wild, Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild, and Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past. No, wait, I take that back. Wind Waker.
Okay.
Yes, those are okay. Those are my 3 favorite Zelda games.
Gotcha. I've played at least 2 of them.
Those, yeah, that's great. And
finished one of them.
Yeah.
Some of my other games that I really like is I just finished the new God of War.
Ooh.
That game's
I've
amazing.
Heard so many good things. I want to play that so bad.
I do too. Like I stopped
it's
watching
really
a
good.
Let's Play of it because I wanted to be like, hey, this is really good. I'm gonna play this.
Yeah.
Instead of watching it.
I keep wondering if it's the one that's going to make me break down and just get a PS4.
Yeah, maybe.
You should just do it.
I should, but I well, should I? I want to. I don't know if I should.
And I have a love-hate relationship with Destiny and Bungie. I have a love-hate relationship with them. So
I assume you played Destiny 1. Have you played 2?
yes,
Okay.
and yes.
My roommate loves 2. He plays it all the time.
Yeah, it's good. It has its problems.
Right.
Like I said, I have a love-hate relationship with it right now.
I imagine.
So, but yeah, I also love the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Excellent. True.
DC, not so much.
Yeah. That sounds about right.
Yeah. So I think I've gone on introducing myself and what I like. I think I'm nerdy enough for this.
I think so. I think you've achieved it. I think you
Do I
got
pass
it.
the nerd scale? May we reign supreme.
10 out of 10.
Yeah, good stuff. Well, then I think we'll go ahead and get into it. We're going to let Eddie sort of take a bit of the reins on this one like he did for Mario Odyssey. Is that the recent? That's the one you did, right? That's what it's called?
Yeah,
Odyssey.
that's the one I did.
Great game.
Yeah.
BT
And,
dubs.
that's what I hear anyway.
Oh, really quick. I'm sorry. Before we jump into
No,
it.
you're good.
Breaking news. Did you guys hear that Rick and Morty is
Got
getting
70
70
episodes,
new?
yeah.
70 more episodes.
70 more episodes.
Yeah.
Holy
Yeah.
crap.
Quite
You
a
guys
few.
should watch one of them. I don't know.
Justin Rowland just tweeted it
Maybe.
out.
I don't know. You're gonna like it, Ethan,
I
honestly.
don't know. We'll see.
Have you never seen Rick and
No, I've
Morty?
never seen it.
What? And you're questioning my nerd?
It's just not my thing.
Yeah.
Alright.
I honestly don't
That's
think Ethan would like it, but that's just me.
We'll see. There's something. I mean, like, there's some things I'm able to look past and stuff. Like some types of humor I'm able to get past.
Mm-hmm.
I really like Archer, even though you think I probably wouldn't like Archer.
Okay, all right, that's fair then.
Archer's
Because it's
so clever.
it's
so funny.
kind of similar in the sense of
Yeah.
like the humor it uses. So
Gotcha.
So
it's
yeah,
just more spy oriented than science oriented.
Yeah.
If you don't like it, if you ever do like want to watch Rick and Morty, if you don't like it, I won't hold that against you. It's like we're all entitled to our own opinions, I
We are
guess.
indeed, supposedly. Not according to the internet, I guess. But,
Yeah.
You know. Well, that's all right. I think I'll let you go into it, Eddie. We wanted to talk about the lore a bit first, right?
Oh man, we were going to talk about the lore of the Legend of Zelda.
All right. So just pretend that I don't know a whole lot, and
Yeah,
then
well, you know. I don't know if we
We're
have
not
to
now. We're
pretend that.
pretending.
theater of the mind. Yes.
So, The Legend of Zelda. It was made by Shigeru Miyamoto, who also made Mario, of course, back in 1986. First released on the Famicom, or the Nintendo Entertainment System, as you know. He got inspiration from exploring like forests and caves in his like village area or wherever he came from, and basically wanted to make a game like that. So he did, and it became one of the best-selling game series of all time. There's 18 games in the canon series, I think,
Good
like the actual like.
Lord.
Yeah.
So there's more than 18 games?
Well, I mean, there's like spin-offs and stuff.
Yeah, there's like
Okay.
like an archery game
Yeah.
where you play with like a
And there's
yeah.
and Smash. Smash isn't
Right.
canonically
Okay.
part
Yeah.
of
So
the
yeah.
timeline.
not counting games that just have
Link
like
in
Zelda
them.
characters.
Link and
Gotcha.
Zelda. Yeah. But in the
Question.
like actual canon, it's 18 games. Go ahead.
Is Hyrule Warriors part of that canon? Or is it just
No, that's a
thing?
spin-off as well.
Just a thing. Gotcha.
I mean,
Plan on playing that.
It's fun.
It's really hard to say honestly, but because the timelines are all over the place, really. People can say
Yeah.
what they want about
Right.
it, but they're pretty crazy. So I wouldn't doubt they might try to make it part of the timeline, but
So
which we'll get back into a little bit later.
okay, I'll let you do that. I was
No,
like,
yeah,
just
we'll
want to
get into the
this right
timeline.
along.
The timeline is definitely a big like discussion amongst the Zelda
Right,
community.
Gotcha.
But Legend of Zelda came out in '86. Go ahead.
The Hyrule Warriors did introduce the female Link though. Linkle.
That is true. Linkle. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, but
People were freaking out about that.
As they should, I guess.
Yeah.
Interesting.
well, Link has always been seen as like a just a placeholder. He's never been like, well, I mean, I can't say he's never been, but Miyamoto originally envisioned him as like a self-insertion character. That's why he doesn't speak.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he can be replaced with a character like a female Linkle and stuff like that, and it wouldn't have too much effect on the actual like lore and stuff.
Is that why Mario doesn't speak? So anybody can be a plumber?
Well, Mario speaks.
Is that what it is?
He
Does he?
just very very small like words and
I guess
sentences
he
like
says that he's Mario.
yeah.
That's true.
And thank
Can-
you so
can I
much for
say-
playing my game.
I hope this isn't. We're not going to be jumping ahead from what I'm going to say. But after I beat Breath of the Wild, have we all played it?
Yeah,
Yes.
we've all played it.
Okay. You know, at the very end, Zelda says, "Like, do you remember me, Link?" I so wanted him to say yes, and that would be like the only thing he's ever said in any game.
Oh yeah, that'll be really
Like,
cool.
if he said that, I was about, like, just thinking about it. I'm like, yes, I remember you, Zelda. Anyways, I really want,
cool.
that's the only time I've ever wanted him to say something.
Yeah. No, it's
and he never
definitely,
did.
that would have definitely been like a mind-blowing experience, like even after the mind-blow experience, you know?
Goodness gracious.
That would have
It was
been
a good
nice.
game. It was such a good game.
Anyway, back to the history.
Right
Yeah.
up.
And so, like, we have
So-
Zelda
so-
come
so-
out
So
every...
tell me, Eddie, who is
Okay.
this Zelda, and why does he run around with a sword?
Well, that is a good question, because why is The Legend of Zelda called The Legend of Zelda instead of The Legend of Link or other... basically, it's about more of the legend. Like, it revolves around Princess Zelda, like, and the Hyrule, like, lineage and things like that. And like I said, Link isn't exactly an extremely important character in terms of the lore, other than this hero,
Right.
this unnamed, unfaced hero. So rather than taking away, like, making that character a pedestal, it's like the goal of the game is the character and what you should be aiming for, you know. And as you do in most of the Zelda games, you have to rescue Zelda or some sort of variation of that. So it's The Legend of Zelda because, you know, Zelda's the ultimate goal here.
Right.
In most cases.
But it's really interesting though that, like, it's we call it The Legend of Zelda because Zelda's usually your goal, but it's like, and on the same hand though, it's not called Peach, it's called Mario Brothers.
True.
You know what I mean?
But,
like
you know,
it's just an interesting play because they're very, very similar in that respect. But
yeah. I don't know. I think Miyamoto had different plans for both series.
probably so.
Mario.
I
Go ahead.
and like a counter to that, to my own argument, is just like Zelda's usually a bit more integral to the plot than
Yeah,
Peach
and
ever
it's
has
a bit,
been.
and it's a bit more
Yeah.
story filled. Like,
Yeah,
even though you have
true.
a base plot of, you know, hero rescuing maiden in distress, it has a bit more to it because
Yeah.
Mario and Peach, you don't have very many other characters aside from, like, Luigi and Toad, you know, in the actual, like,
Right.
canon of
And
Mario.
Yoshi.
And Yoshi, but Yoshi's not in all the games either. But Luigi isn't either, to be fair. And you know, but yeah, it's a pretty big story overall, aside from the normal hero saves princess from evil man or evil being, because it's not always a person, could be a thing. But so at the beginning, they bounce around a lot on the timeline. So the timeline, there's one solid, like, beginning, you know.
Which one's that? Tell me
that
about this
is-
timeline, because I feel like I've never cared about the timeline. I've always assumed that there isn't one.
Yeah. Well, see, the thing with the timeline is that
Oh my gosh, I'm looking at it.
Miyamoto never really explicitly stated there was one, and even said that there really isn't one, or at least the game producers that are close to him, like Takashi Tezuka, I think his name is.
And I think that's like a great idea because, you know, that gives them freedom to basically do whatever they want. You know, they don't have to make it chronological or anything. And so, which also is fun for us fans, for us to be like, this is how we feel like it should be, like the storyline and everything, you know. So just another way to have the fans just kind of interact and kind of make up our own story, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But yeah, there is like an official, unofficial timeline.
Yeah. Well, basically, it's like the most agreed upon timeline, and Nintendo just put the official stamp of Nintendo on it.
Yeah.
From Dark Horse. So
This is crazy.
yeah. So the very first game, or at least the very first game in the timeline, the beginning of it all is Skyward Sword. Basically, it goes through, like, how things came to be between Zelda, Link, and Ganon.
Gotcha.
So Zelda through a few of the
That game
games.
was released for the
Wii.
Yeah, the Wii.
Yeah.
And the GameCube, I believe, but more Wii than GameCube.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was like
It's
in
like
that same.
early game?
Yeah, it was one of those things like.
Was it released on the GameCube?
Like
I don't know. If
I
it
don't.
was or not.
I don't remember. I don't think so. I think that one was. Because that one specifically had
It was
like
Twilight
Wii
Princess.
Motion
It was Twilight
things.
Princess.
Twilight Princess.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking of.
Yeah, that was like
Twilight Princess was
what
released
Breath
for
of the Wild
GameCube.
did with the Wii U and the Switch.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
Gotcha.
That wasn't.
But yeah,
Twilight
so
Princess.
basically, like the story of the first one of how it all began is this evil demon called Demise. Okay, so there's three goddesses.
Righto.
All right,
Like
and
the goddesses that I mentioned in Ocarina.
yeah,
Yeah,
Cool.
right. You know a bit of the beginning because they actually go into like the very beginning in Ocarina of Time whenever the Deku Tree is telling Link about this. And
yeah. And so basically, like those three goddesses are the ones that created the world, essentially.
yeah, commanded by Goddess Hylia, who is like the supreme goddess.
Yes.
Okay.
And
Who's not
she-
counted in those three goddesses?
No, she's
No, okay.
like the head honcho, and whose blood runs through the Hylian royalty, like Zelda.
Oh,
she
gotcha.
has Goddess Hylia blood in her.
Neato.
And Goddess Hylia sent the three goddesses to create the world, basically.
Okay.
And so in Skyward Sword, Demise, who is like kind of like the king demon dude, he's a big bad
Big
guy.
bad guy, yeah.
Hylia was like fighting him, but to make sure that basically humanity was saved, she created like this island and put it up in the sky, and then she sealed him away in the ground. Again, correct me if I'm wrong about any of this.
No, I'm listening. You're pretty on par right now. So.
Okay, and to seal him away, and everything, and again, it's kind of hazy how to get from what happens from then to the beginning of Skyward Sword.
It's never really explicitly stated,
Yeah.
other than like this holy war, like
Yeah, so
fighting
there's like this war happening. She seals him away, and he's sealed away. But then he's beginning to break out of his seal.
yeah, it's weakening.
Yeah, it's weakening, and so that's when Hylia she is like reincarnated as Zelda, if that makes sense.
Yep,
Fun job.
that's what happens.
Yeah, and that's why Zelda is like really important, basically because she is Hylia.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
And she chooses Link to be like her warrior type of a deal, and so that's like how it
Okay.
kind of
Gotcha.
begins.
So that's why we keep getting, I guess, what would be reincarnations of the two of them throughout this timeline is what this must be?
Yeah, it's very rare for the same Link and the same Zelda to be a sequel from the other games. There's a couple of instances where it is a sequel, but or at least like a direct sequel. For example, like Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask.
Yeah, right.
But usually these games take place like hundreds of years apart.
Yeah,
And it's like Descendants things and stuff like that.
and like how the game ends is with like Demise basically putting a curse on Link and Zelda, saying, "I will keep coming back until I beat you," type of a thing.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And so that's basically how we keep getting like kind of reincarnations of him, with whether it be like Ganon or Ganondorf. Yeah, and
Or Vati, or
or Vati.
Yeah, who's Vati?
Vati is this
saw that person
evil
listed in one
wind sorcerer that is in cahoots with Ganon, kind of. It's like Zant in Twilight Princess, but
Four Swords. He's mentioned in Four Swords. Oh, he's mentioned. Also, he's in the Minish Cap and Four Swords.
yeah.
Gotcha.
And basically, he's working with Ganon to overthrow and get the other Triforce pieces and stuff like that. So,
Spoiler alert: he doesn't win. Well, except in one timeline.
Yeah,
We'll get to that.
Yeah, we'll get to that. So whenever the three goddesses, Den, Nehru, and Feyror, make the world, they pretty much condense their power into this sacred three-symboled thing. It's triangle, three pieces of a triangle called the Triforce.
Yeah.
And anyone who possesses the three pieces can have any wish they want granted. They're basically the Dragon Balls. Um,
Gotcha. Don't
and,
each one stand for something different?
yeah.
Does that change every
Din,
game, or is that the
no,
same throughout?
it's all throughout the same throughout the series. Din is the piece of power, the Triforce
Wait,
of
hold on,
power.
hold on. I can do this. We got
Okay.
power, we got wisdom, right?
Yes.
And we got
One more.
courage.
Oh man, look at
Yeah,
you.
you are
Crushed
on
it.
it.
Excellent.
Now match the goddesses to the types.
I don't even know their names. I've seen
So
them once.
Din is representation of fire. She's power. Nehru
Gotcha.
is the goddess of wisdom, who is usually be represented by blue or water. And Feyror is the courage. Jesus Christ! Wow, I blanked there. Feyror is courage, and she's represented by the color green.
Gotcha.
Or nature and so forth
Yeah.
and such. And each one basically shaped the world as they saw with their power. So Din created the earth, or like the ground. Feyror created the greenery, and Nehru gave it all life, basically, things like that.
Gotcha.
And so the Triforce is the symbol of the Hylians, or at least the Hyrule royalty and stuff like that. It's kept very secret from everyone. So we get from.
Do you think that they've ever done anything to try and keep the bloodline pure of of like Zelda? Is there any like inbreeding that happens? Do you
Yeah.
think?
Maybe, but I mean, there's lots of there's lots of kingdoms across the world of
Oh, that's true.
Hyrule, so maybe
Yeah,
not.
yeah. That,
That makes sense.
Promised marriages and stuff.
But I mean,
Yeah.
like, are all the royals, are they aware that they are Hylian blood? Because I get the feeling that they may not be. Like, because these are just if we're assuming the reincarnation route, they don't have to be, right?
Yeah,
It's just like the spirit of this god entering a new body
vessel.
Yeah.
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 I mean, it could happen. I don't know.
Interesting.
The bloodlines aren't too defined. Like, we've only gotten the king of Hyrule in like a couple of the games.
Yeah.
Which is really weird to me, in my opinion. But,
Yeah, I agree. It's very strange.
the most recent one being Breath of the Wild, who's a very, vibrant character.
Yeah, he's really cool.
At least in the beginning.
Yeah.
But and the
Also,
cutscenes, but-
just a pause to put in for the listener's sake, I have played maybe 4 of these games ever in my life. I've only completed one of them, that being Breath of the Wild, and I'm currently playing through Ocarina on my DS. And I guess I'll talk more about that later when we get into what we're recommending. But so that's why, just so everybody can be aware. That's why I don't know a whole lot. I'll be asking questions. But yeah, so Ocarina is fresh on my mind, which is why I was talking about the goddesses. But yeah, anyway, do continue. Just wanted to put that out there.
So, where was I? So the goddesses shaped the world and made the Triforce, and the Hylian people, or the Hylian royalties, kept it secret and stuff like that. Kept it sealed away until a time of need and such. Then we get to in Skyward Sword, basically they are going from the sky to the land. Like they're repopulating, the world as it is.
A return
Yeah.
to the surface, it says.
Yeah, they go down to the surface, and this is basically where Hyrule Kingdom is kind of like made, and that's after the Triforce is kept secret and stuff like that, and harnessed for its power and things like that. But I believe that's when the Minish Cap takes place.
Yeah, Minish Cap's next.
Yeah, and that's one of the games I haven't played. I've played all of them except 2 of them, and Minish Cap is one of them, as well
Have you
as.
played that?
I have not.
Spirit
I
Tracks.
haven't played. I don't play. I'll say that I don't play any of the handheld games.
Gotcha.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Okay.
There's
I
quite a
know.
few
I
good
know.
ones.
Some of them are great and amazing. I don't play handheld games. That's
Yeah.
just yeah, that's just my thing.
Sweet. That's fine. No. So, since none of us have any
Well, I know
experience
a
with
bit
the
about
Minish
the game. I just like in the
I'll
sense
go
of
in
story.
And I'll explain all of it.
Oh, okay.
I imagine you get this cap that diminishes you.
Well,
small?
I believe the story went that I didn't actually mention the Master Sword, but the Master Sword is also created in Skyward Sword from Fi. Her name is. She's
That's really cool.
Yeah, she's the spirit that resides in the sword, or something like that, or she's made out of this.
That's
sword.
good to know, because I mean, like, the Master Sword just kind of exists in all of them, and like anytime you come around it, you're just like, this is the sword that the hero will wield.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, there's actually a being inside of it, and it talks to you and helps you along in Skyward Sword.
And she talks a lot.
Yeah, and she's
Oh,
very
she like
annoying.
Navi?
She's basically the Navi, yeah, of,
Oh, gosh.
of Skyward Sword. She's very
I
annoying.
would say, like, in even a more extreme version of Navi,
Yeah.
she's pretty talkative.
Navi's been bugging
Because
the
at
crap
least
out of
with Navi, you usually had a choice to listen to what she had to say. And
Accurate.
Fi, you just like, she stops you, and she
Yeah.
tells you what you need to do and what you have to do.
me. That sounds so infuriating.
But on the other hand, there is also Jirahim, which is the evil Fi, as it was in the game, which was interesting because it's never really brought up that Ganon has his own like Master Sword of sorts. But basically, Jirahim is the spirit residing in Demise's big sword, and the Master Sword and the Jirahim sword, whatever it's called, clash. And that's another thing. The Master Sword is all throughout the games usually, and a big point of like, oh, the sword chooses the master, and etc. etc. But there is actually a spirit inside of it.
Yeah.
So
I never would have even known that. That's ridiculous.
yeah. So the Minish Cap, I believe the sword gets laid down as it does in all of the games ever, and there are little tiny things that come out of the sky and like protect it or something like that, or at least are assigned to protect it on the Earth, or on Hyrule, whatever. And that's how the Vati basically like transforms someone into a hat that they made as a curse or something like that, and he and the Link of that game team up, and that's how the green tunic and hat come to be.
Gotcha.
A symbol
so this hat
of
is alive and sentient.
Yeah, and it talks to you and guides you through things. It's basically the Navi of that game.
All right.
But that's
Is it
how
is
the
it like Cappy?
yeah, no, not really.
No.
Cappy's they actually did Cappy very well in Odyssey.
Cool.
Whenever you don't have to stop for a cutscene to listen to tutorial, it's really good.
Maybe I should play that
But,
game too.
Yeah, you definitely should. But that's how the hero's garb came to be. It's a symbol. Like in a lot of the games, you have the green tunic and the green hat, and that's where the Minish Cat came from, because that's like the symbol of the Minish people. I forget what they're called, but yeah.
I think they're just called men, like
Yeah.
the men.
Yeah, they might. But I think that's basically the only significance of that game, as opposed to the introduction of Vati, and because Vati's not he's only in like 3 or 4 games himself.
He looks cute.
Yeah, he's alright. And the 4 swords. Actually, that's another one I haven't played, so I haven't played 3 of them.
Are there 2 versions of 4 swords?
Yes, there is
Yeah,
like the original for the Game Boy Advance, and I think they remade it for like the DS or something like that.
Gotcha.
Or at least they re-released it. I don't know, something like that. But you can team up with your friends or play by yourself with that game. And I don't think there's any real big significance in the timeline to that game.
So
it was
it's
just like
the resurrection of Vati, and that's it.
Yeah,
So
something like that.
Vati coming back, reincarnated, whatever.
And so comes the big shattering of the Ocarina of Time.
Gotcha.
So the Ocarina of Time is like the big turning point. I think
Yeah,
there was
that's-
like there was a war or something. I remember there being lots of fire in that cutscene, so the Hylians had to fight another imposing threat or something like that. And
Was it the desert people? Was it like actually?
oh yeah, the Gerudo. It
Homeless
might have been the
people?
Gerudo.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, there was a civil war, and basically, since it deals with time and going back and forth through time, the timelines get screwed up like crazy.
Yeah, I imagine.
And theoretically, and this is where a lot of argument comes up, is that there are 3 different paths that it can take.
That's what it seems to branch into 3.
Yeah, there's a hero's defeated, so Link loses. And then there's a hero is triumphant, which is, he defeats Ganon and either goes back in time to remain a child, and he continues on as an adult. So
Gotcha.
those are the 3. And each path has their own games. Like
Yeah, it says them listed. Is there a path you prefer?
I mean, we'll go through each one of them.
Gotcha.
It's basically pretty important on all fronts. But I think we should probably go to the defeat first, since it's only one branch.
Gotcha.
But basically, Link is I don't want to say killed, but he loses to Ganon.
Right. So if he loses
probably
again
dies.
in the Ocarina of Time, we go down this certain path.
Yeah. Basically, even though Link is defeated, I think the sages and Zelda are like successful in imprisoning him or sealing him away in the sacred realm, and that's where A Link to the Past comes from, I believe, because that's where he, like, whenever he's sealed into the sacred realm, he turns it into the Dark World.
Gotcha.
And all the and that's in the Link to the Past when you turn into a bunny or something. For some reason.
That's one of your favorites, right?
Yeah, Link to the Past. It's great. Love
so
it.
if you want to, you can explain that.
Take it away.
and stuff.
Talk about it.
Oh, me. Okay. Well, oh no, I don't know what to say.
You good?
Oh, this
What's the
is-
general storyline of
hard.
that game? How does it work?
Well, the story is you wake up. Okay, I love how it starts because your uncle, he's like, hey, I gotta go to the castle, because he's a guard or something.
Yeah.
And he's like, just don't worry, I'll be back soon a little bit. But then night comes and you wake up and it's like rainy and everything. He's like, where'd my uncle go?
Yeah.
And so you go out to go find him. You find him and he's dead. So you take his sword and shield.
It sucks.
Yeah.
What a rough day. Uncle Ben.
That's right. And then that is essentially how the story begins. Yeah.
This is an older game then, yeah?
Yeah, it's
It
a
is.
Super Nintendo game.
It was on Super Nintendo.
Was it ever remade, or is it just the old one?
No, it's just been ported. It's never been remade. I mean, that's arguable because A Link Between Worlds is kind of like a reimagining of it, but it's a different story. It's very different.
But basically, like, the story of this game is there's this wizard. I don't remember his name. I can't think of his name right now. But like, there's this wizard sorcerer dude that wants to resurrect Ganon because
I think it's
or
Aghanim.
Ganondorf.
Aghanim
and-
or Aghanim or something like that.
Yeah.
Agahamin.
Yeah. and so that is what he's trying to do. He's trying to resurrect Ganon because just over time he just ends up dying.
Right.
Yeah, and so you need to stop it. And that's
What's
all
the
I got.
mechanics like? You said
That's
you
all I
could
can
turn into
remember.
something?
Well, like in this game, you can go from the dark world to the light world,
Okay.
right?
Is that similar to like
And the
Twilight
Dark World,
Princess?
as I explained, is the sacred realm where the sages in Ocarina of Time sealed Ganon.
Okay, so like,
Yeah.
yeah. Link failed, but they sealed him away into the sacred realm, and he just wrecked the place.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So take it away. That's all I got.
That's cool.
So yeah, there's more sages that are keeping Ganon at bay, and you have to save the sages that are being held or trapped in crystals or something like that.
Okay.
It's been so long since I played this, but
So similar to like Ocarina of Time.
Yeah. Basically, you have to save like 6 to 8 people in each game to help defeat Ganon. I mean,
it's a common concurrence.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, it's not too impeding on the timeline, I think, but it's basically setting up to how Ganon like destroyed the Sacred Realm and made it his own because he had the Triforce.
Gotcha.
And you just have to save the people who are in the Dark Realm and stuff like that. But yeah, after that we go to. I'm looking at the timeline now because I don't actually know too deep.
The Oracles are next, right?
Yeah, the Oracle of Ages and Oracle of Seasons, which are
I played one of those.
2 of my favorite games because they're very good. Yeah.
I
Well, they're not like
played them when I was young, and I just
top
could
5.
could not appreciate Zelda games when I was a kid.
Yeah, no, it's fine. But basically, Link goes to a different world or a different land, where Ganondorf is trying to be resurrected there, or Ganon rather. I keep calling Ganondorf, but this is where we get interaction with the goddesses. The goddesses are actually like characters in the game. You have Din and Nehru most prominently, and Faerûr unfortunately got shafted because there was going to be a 3rd game in the series, but they didn't have the resources or money or something like that, and so they just scrunched her on the side and made her the secret bearer. Because the games function in a password system, and you can play one game and get the password from that to continue like directly from there on the second game. And at that point,
that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
The true story unfolds, in which Twinrova, which are two witch sisters under the command of Ganon, try to resurrect him and do actually succeed. But basically, you have to stop them, and it's really cool how they did it because helping Din and Nehru, they get possessed and stuffed by the evil commanders of Ganon's army or something like that, and but he's stopped again, so he gets defeated. But after finishing that, Link is sailing back to Hyrule, and a storm comes up, and basically he gets knocked out, and his boat gets smashed, and that's where Link Awakening comes in. Huh. And the Link's Awakening is another one that's not really too important of the
it doesn't list
overarching story.
Really major that have, like most of the things that when it lists them here in the Historia, they have like the name of the game, and they have like something significant that happens, and this has nothing significant next to it. This has the name of the game.
Link's Awakening is supposed to be like a dream sequence. Like Link dreams up like this island in which you have to save them from Ganon's clutches, or at least not Ganon's. There's actually another antagonist of this. I can't remember exactly what its name is, but
it's a fish, right?
Well, the windfish is what is the tool in which Link needs to wake up from the dream.
Okay.
But there is there's something like trying to keep the windfish from waking up, and you have to defeat that in order to wake up the windfish, in order to wake up from being shipwrecked out in the middle of the ocean. But yeah, I mean, there's no real big significance in that game to the story other than he
just goes on some wacky adventures sometimes, you know?
Yeah, even in his mind.
Look, there's an owl in this one. It's reminding me of how annoying the owl is in Ocarina of Time.
Well, the owl is one of the sages. Like, he's the...
But good lord, he could
Rauru,
shut up.
I believe his name is.
I just... when I walk by a place, if he's standing there, I'm like, oh crap, I'm going to have to listen to this fool.
Try to edge around him. Oh no.
He stops me, makes me listen to his hoot-hoots, and then he's like, hey, but you can do what you wish. And I'm like, of course I can. It's a video game. And I'm like, shut up and let me walk. Anyway, sorry. Tangent.
So no, you're good. So after that, I think I don't think he ever got back to Hyrule. Like he went on another voyage, and like his whereabouts were unknown
Link,
from that.
That Link kind of vanishes. Yeah, because we don't really know because the next one that shows up, it's not the same Link.
Yeah, not at all. Because the next one is like the first game that was ever released, The Legend of Zelda.
On the NES.
Mm-hmm. So the story goes, it's like Zelda has been like under scrutiny because the prince, her brother, doesn't have the Triforce of courage on him, and that's like a big thing, for the Hyrule royalty. It's like, oh no, who has the Triforce of courage then? Because obviously someone's been reincarnated with the power of the Triforce.
Gotcha.
And so forth. So the Legend of Zelda and the Adventures of Link, that's one of the direct sequel games. It's supposed to be like Zelda or Link gets the Triforce at the end of the first game, or he finds the pieces of it or whatever. I don't remember. And the Triforce appears on his arm, or on his hand rather, at the end of that.
Gotcha. Okay.
And then The Adventures of Link comes out, and Zelda has been put into comatose, basically, and permanent sleep. She's never supposed to wake up. And her brother actually did that because he grew jealous or something like that, and or at least or an advisor or something like that. And basically, Link comes up with the Triforce on his hand. He's like, "Screw you!" and he he prevents Ganon from resurrecting, but by defeating his shadow self, which is supposed to be like a form of demise as well. Fans have said.
Is that like the first bit of Dark Link?
Yeah, the first
Cool.
like true evilness of the hero's heart, or something like that.
Intriguing. So, 2 questions.
Mm-hmm.
1, are there actually multiple endings to Ocarina of Time, or is there just the one?
Nope, just one.
No, yeah, there's just one.
Just
Okay.
the one.
2.
It would be cool if they had.
Right?
multiple
I think that would
endings,
be really interesting.
Yeah, because
But
then that would
obviously,
just
I don't
enforce.
think
Well,
they
you
were-
know, if you want to go down that route, yes, there is, because when you fight Ganon, you could die, boom, and there's that.
Okay, so suppose
There's that.
supposing you just drop the
that
game and never
storyline.
play it again. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
it just solidifies the timeline even more.
Yeah, that makes sense. Well, my other
Second
question
question.
is, does Breath of the Wild fit in this timeline that we just talked about?
It's really hard to say where the Breath of the Wild.
I don't
falls.
think we the community or anyone's really kind of decided where
Well, so
it lands.
something's interesting to me is that all of these timeline things, once they branch off, they all refer to Ganondorf or Ganon in a specific way. Like
Yeah.
he's all called Ganondorf here whenever the hero is victorious, and he's called Ganon whenever the hero is not victorious.
Mm-hmm.
So I assume Breath of the Wild would fit into this one where the one where he's not victorious, because that's what they refer to Ganon as, because Ganon's just called Ganon in Breath of the Wild.
Whoa.
Yeah,
I think he might-
There could be
well,
quite a bit of significance there.
Man, I think you just
I mean,
like,
that's
you just
if-
came up with
if
like
they were-
where it lands.
assuming that the people that make the Zelda games were actually thinking about that when they make them. That's another question I had. Is like, did Miyamoto write the majority of these, or did he just kind of like?
I'm sure he oversaw most of
Yeah,
it. if he didn't.
he doesn't make them anymore.
Right.
The new person who makes them, I don't remember his name, but he's been a main producer of like the mainline Zelda games for a very long time.
Okay.
Yeah,
I honestly think since Ocarina of Time, he's been like a producer, but now he's like the director of them. Again, I can't think of his name, so sorry.
It's Takeshi Tezuka.
Yeah, that's it. That's the one.
Cool.
But he was also just a supervisor of Breath of the Wild. I don't think he actually directed
Oh,
or
right.
anything.
Okay.
But
The more you know.
he's
Such
worked
a good game.
with Miyamoto on a lot of them,
Okay.
if not all of them actually. But they like go hand in hand. I don't actually know who made Breath of the Wild. Let me see. Wikipedia, tell me Directors. Oh lord, that is a long name. Hidemaru Fujibayashi. He was the director.
He sounds Japanese.
Yeah, but he also directed Skyward Sword and was also the writer. So,
Okay.
That's unfortunately, Skyward Sword has been scrutinized as one of the worst Zeldas, but
Really?
to each their own.
Yeah.
I mean,
I enjoyed it, but
I liked it
definitely-
too.
Yeah, it has its flaws, but I don't think it deserves as much crap as it's gotten from
I
people.
have no idea what I just. I'm gonna
Don't
finish
worry about
Ocarina,
it.
and I think I might play Majora's Mask afterwards. I
Yeah.
kind of want to play Twilight Princess because it always looked really cool.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Like that's a beautiful game, but it's it's one of the lesser fun ones in my opinion. It's very dark and gloomy and heavy.
That sounds great. Let's go.
And
I'm down for that.
as opposed to the regular bright overworld of Zelda.
It's like freaking Wind Waker.
So, but like, okay, these next timelines I know a little bit more about. The
This is the victorious ones.
the victorious ones I
Child
know a little
versus
bit more
adult.
about, because those are the main ones that I've enjoyed. So, do you mind if I take over?
Well, I just wanted to make
for
one more
Majora's
point with
Mask?
Breath
Go
of the
for it.
Wild, but so I'm gonna have to also agree that it would probably go under the hero is defeated timeline because Link wakes up from being defeated by Ganon. That's the
That is-
whole
yeah, that's
story
accurate,
behind Breath
yeah.
of the Wild.
Mhm.
Whoa,
We don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't
They
know exactly
basically-
which Link it was.
Right.
But
And you guys are just breaking the news right now. Breaking
That
news.
makes a lot of sense to me. Though,
Scoop.
Yeah.
Because that's and when we wake up in Breath of the Wild, it's from what 100 years.
yeah,
prior
100 years
we
of
fall into
the
Ganon?
Resurrection Chamber.
Right.
Yeah.
And then, isn't there somewhere, if we're talking about in the lore from that game, isn't it talk about like 1,000 years prior they'd fallen to Ganon before as well?
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure when they talk about their previous encounter with Ganon, it didn't end super well either.
yeah.
But
But
yeah.
a big factor in Breath of the Wild is the Sheikah and their technology. So
Yeah, true.
we've never really seen that sort of technology in any of the other games. So it's really difficult to say in that sense, like because the Sheikah apparently fought with them like 10,000 years ago or
Yeah.
something like that, like
It was a crazy long
millennia
amount of
ago.
time. Yeah.
And they had this technology, so I don't know. It's really difficult to say.
Are Sheikah at all significant in relation to like any gods or anything?
They are the defenders of the Hylian royalty, to put it
Yeah,
lightly. Like
that's right.
they protect the Hyrule,
They're
like
the Secret
kings and
Service
queens. Yeah,
for them.
exactly, exactly. For lack of a better phrase, but yes,
Yeah.
they're basically ninjas who protect,
Yeah.
but in the shadows, from the shadows. But yeah, I mean and they've never really been too significant other than in Ocarina of Time and Twilight Princess, kind of. And they're not even a big factor in Twilight Princess either. They're just
No.
mentioned. No, I mean not Twilight Princess, Skyward Sword. They're just mentioned a few times because no, it is Twilight Princess. I'm sorry, I'm getting my games mixed up.
That's fine. No, you're fine.
Because
It's a lot of games.
there
That's
was
news
a
to me.
there was a war in Twilight Princess where they like exterminated the Gerudos, and and the Sheikahs did that. Like the Sheikah people, like spearheaded that project.
Yes.
But anyway,
I never would have known that because the two games that I have the most experience with are Breath of the Wild and Ocarina of Time, wherein the Sheikah are fairly
Prominent.
important.
Yeah.
Prominent.
Yeah.
So I was just like, I never would have known that they're not a big deal in other games. As far as I'm concerned, they're a very big deal. So
yeah. So
It's one of those things where I think kind of like what happens is they're not really killed off, but their like population kind of shrinks.
Yeah,
but then it
that
looks
seems to
kinda
be the
grows
case.
bigger, and
Yeah,
so
it's like what happened in like Full Metal Alchemist or something. To
Yeah.
that people that happened.
yeah, exactly.
But yeah, you can go ahead with Majora's Mask now.
So, this starts the beginning of the child heir, like Child Link. This is after in Ocarina of Time when Link beats Ganon, and then he goes back in time to his own time period.
Yeah, and that's
now,
shown at the ending of Ocarina of Time. Like that's the ending that we see.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so what happens here is at the end of Ocarina of Time, basically young Link goes to young Zelda and tells her like, hey, that guy like Ganondorf, he's pretty bad. You shouldn't trust him. And so she's like, oh, okay, cool. And so they like kick him out of like Hyrule.
No, I think they execute him. I think they kill him.
Yeah, they
That's
execute
a good way
him.
to go. Keep him from getting the Triforce.
Because I think they find the like conspiracy and stuff like that. And
So Link, he wants he's going through like the woods, like he's traveling.
Mm-hmm.
Young Zelda, Link. Oh man, this is bad. Young Link, he's traveling.
Gotcha.
But then his fairy runs away. No, wait. Is he looking for Navi?
Yeah, he's looking for Navi.
Yeah, that's what happened.
Because spoiler alert, Ethan, Navi flies away from you.
Okay.
In the ending of Ocarina of Time.
Fun junk.
So that's the opening of Majora's Mask. He's looking through for Navi in the.
So this is another one of the direct sequels.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we're dealing with the same length. Gotcha.
Yeah.
But then he falls down a hole, and he hits his head and he wakes up, and and then that's where he like finds Navi and his brother. Is it Navi and like
Tattle and Tail?
Tattle and Tail. Okay.
Yeah, Navi's not in the game.
Okay, man, it's been so wild.
No, that's okay.
Here I am acting like
Majora's Mask is actually my favorite game. Is like my favorite Zelda.
Yeah. Majora's Mask is amazing.
So Majora is the
so and
antagonist in it, right?
Yeah, and so Link, he ends up running into his name's like he's just called the Skull Kid, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, and he's wearing this mask, which we learn later is Majora, the Majora's Mask. That's the name of it. And then basically he ends up bringing the moon down on the this kingdom. It's like this kingdom isn't Hyrule, right?
Right. It's Termina.
Yes, Termina. That's right.
This game is an entire departure from.
It's completely different. The only thing, I mean, they used all the models and stuff from Ocarina of Time, but it's a completely different story.
Huh.
And one cool thing about this game that I really liked was the time mechanic. I thought it was pretty cool because you have like a 3-day span.
Right, it's a timed game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you basically have to find the time song to reverse time to kind of start over. Again, if you don't find that, then the moon just crashes down and destroys Termina.
Well, whenever you see Link in the forest, basically the Skull Kid jumps on Epona. And runs off.
That's your horse.
Yeah.
Crushed it.
Or Epona, however you want to say it. And then after you find the Skull Kid again, like he transforms you into a Deku Scrub. And basically you're stuck like that. He runs away and with your after taking care of your horse, quote unquote. And but he accidentally leaves Tattle behind, and Tail goes with the Skull Kid, and they get separated. And so Tattle becomes your companion for the game, and you run after him, and you're suddenly in this clock tower after going through these halls of in the forest. And you meet the Skull not Skullman, Skull Kid, the Happy Mask salesman. Basically he tells you that he had his mask lost, and in order to help Link out of the Deku Scrub body, he has to find the instrument that was taken from him, which the Skull Kid steals your ocarina as well. That's seen in the opening cutscene where he's playing it, and then he jumps on Epona and rides away. So basically, you learn that there's a festival in the Clock Town that you come to, and everybody's celebrating and things like that, or prepping for it. But there's also a huge moon above, like that hasn't been there before, before now, and they're like, "Huh, wonder if that's gonna crash down into us."
It has like a creepy smile. It has like the moon has eyes and like a smile. Like
Yeah, I think they
just slowly coming towards you.
Yeah, I think they actually
That
modeled
sounds
it after
fun.
Ganondorf's face.
Holy crap!
Yeah, so it's very scary. And as you go through the game, as the time, so the first part, like you have to actually like go through the town and do things to actually get this ocarina back, because you eventually learn that he's sitting on top of the clock tower, which only opens during the festival time, on the third day, and that's fortunately when the moon is also about to crash, and you have to get it within 3 days, or the moon does crash. And so you go do all these like little silly things, and you eventually make it to the top of the clock tower as the moon is about to fall, and you basically get your ocarina back, and you're brought back into the cutscene where Zelda is teaching you the Song of Time from the first game.
Huh.
And you play that, and you get teleported back in time at the beginning.
Gnarly.
Yeah. And this is one of my favorite. Like I said, this is my favorite Zelda game. If only because it has this super dark undertone of death all around you. Like,
well, like in the town, like everyone knows that they're about to die, and so basically everyone kind of has their own little subquest for you, and it's basically to help them cope with what's about to happen.
Yeah.
Huh.
Well, a lot of them have also evacuated before the moon
Yeah.
falls. So, but I mean, either way, like something that big is going to like obliterate the entire like planet that it's
It's also
on.
got this really cool looking fierce deity Link.
Oh yeah, no, the Fierce Deity Link is really cool. But
yeah, he looks a boss. It's
but
super cool.
that's just more of an extra thing. I don't know if that actually has any significance to the story either. But
It
yeah.
looks cool. That's significant enough.
So
And so this is the start of Child's.
yeah, Victory of the Child path, or Victory Child era,
Gotcha.
or something like that.
Yeah.
And basically, you stop the Skull Kid and save Termina, and at that point, I think what's it say? Yeah, the Ganondorf is executed, like in between this area, because we don't really we don't know what happens to that Link either, because he just kind of continues looking for Navi. And I think it was said that in Twilight Princess, the person that actually teaches you like sword techniques and stuff is that Link.
Yeah.
So,
and
and
so like
he's a skeleton.
yeah, because he's died.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
obviously.
You know.
Died looking for Navi.
But yeah,
Yeah.
so basically what happens for like Twilight Princess is they the sages, like Ganondorf is sent to be executed, and they try to execute him, but Ganondorf has like the Triforce of Power, and so he actually doesn't die.
Right.
So instead of doing that, instead of like actually killing him, they ended up like banishing him to the Twilight Realm. And so that's kind of how that happens, and then he ends up taking over the Twilight Realm, and then
Like you do.
yeah, and then
When you have the Triforce of Power.
exactly, and he comes back to Hyrule. He just that Ganon.
What's his
he
obsession
just keeps
with
coming
Hyrule?
back.
Because I mean, he was demise in the first game. But like, what does he want? What is his goal?
He wants the Triforce.
Yeah, he wants all three pieces of the Triforce.
Yeah,
and
He wants
that's,
to destroy everything. Like, it highly like.
he wants to be
dump
the
him.
ruler of the world, basically.
Yeah,
He wants to
Gotcha.
rule everything. He's very greedy.
Yeah,
He's a greedy man.
He's just a bad guy. Okay.
He's a bad guy.
and so
But not
he
bad
gains a
guy.
follower like Zant, and Zant basically becomes his ambassador type of a deal. Zant is like a wizard dude who's
He sounds like a wizard dude.
yeah, he's basically like your main villain
He's very
for a
creepy.
while in Twilight Princess.
It's like somebody from Star Wars.
He's
right?
super creepy. Like he's like legit one of the creepiest antagonists in the Zelda universe, in my opinion. But
Yeah.
Talk about creepy. So, wandering around in the Forest Temple in Ocarina of Time, and
do you just
mind
come
you,
in contact with a wall master?
I've never gotten this far. So, like, this is all new to me. As a child, I played Ocarina, but I never got past him being a child. And then I was like, watch for stuff falling from the roof. And I'm like, okay. And then, like, this noise that gets slowly louder.
This descending
and
noise.
This shadow over. I'm like, what is going on? And
then
I
a
move,
hand
and it's a
grabs
big
you.
hand. And I'm like, that was legitimately the most terrifying instance I've ever had.
Oh man, no! Like I had a very similar experience. I actually had to shut off my game because I was playing at night when I first played it.
That's
because
what I
of
was
that.
playing. I was playing last night, and I was like, what is that? It was...
I could
no.
the shadow was enough for me. I didn't even see that it was a hand. I was like the just shadow
Yeah.
on you and not like following you around and stuff. I was like, nope. This is time for morning things.
Yeah, it was...
No,
yeah.
for me, the part that scared me the most in that game was like the zombie people. When
Right.
we go
The
like
re-
in the
the
graveyard.
redeads.
Yeah.
Definitely.
When I first saw them, and they're like terrifying screech.
Ear-piercing scream.
Right. Yeah,
Yeah.
because it stops the game, it zooms in on them in slow motion, and then they scream. It makes you notice
And they're
them.
walking to you as well. You can't
Yes.
move, but they're moving.
Yeah, that's when I would freak. I'm like, okay, come on, get out,
No,
get out.
it's
Yeah,
certainly
no.
like,
No, I
that's
remember
some of the
that from when I was
scariest
a
crap.
kid. I was like, oh my crap.
Right.
It's not fun.
So, Ganondorf, he ends up like banishing the princess, the ruler of the Twilight Realm, into Hyrule, and like cursing her, basically.
Is that
Be
Midna?
a little
And that's
midget.
Midna.
That's
Okay,
correct.
that's what she called. Okay, cool.
And so Midna ends up finding this person, Link, who ends up turning into a wolf when he gets into the Twilight Realm, because there's like Twilight spots that end up popping up in the land.
Gotcha.
And then,
So like the two realms are kind of merging.
yeah,
Gotcha.
type of a
And
deal.
he gets drawn into the Twilight Realm and gets like shackled into a jail cell.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And that's when he turns into a
And
wolf.
Midna's like, "Hey, you seem to be in trouble."
Let me help you. And so that's when those two, Link and Midna, you guys go on your epic adventure to save Princess Zelda
And the Twilight Realm. And
in the Twilight Realm.
Now,
Yeah, and
question
so
about the game itself: is it only available on the Wii or Wii U or whatever it came out on?
Also available on GameCube, but
yeah,
Okay, gotcha.
I'm
they
sure they'll
they remastered it for the Wii U.
yeah,
Yeah,
Gotcha.
but it came
And
out for the GameCube and the Wii.
Then
I'm
you
sure
play some
they'll
Switch.
re-release it for the Switch eventually.
Please do. I would love to play some Switch.
Because Nintendo has a hard-on for like reselling titles all the time forever.
Yeah, well, particularly Wii U things because they wanted the Wii U to do well, and it just
Well, yeah,
didn't.
yeah, but I mean, in the sense of like any game,
Yeah.
buy Ocarina of Time for the 10th time on the 10th system,
Yeah,
it's fine.
Yeah,
it is true.
So
I've played it on 3 systems now.
I feel like this is kind of where we get into like really awesome kills when you actually end up killing Ganon
Oh yeah,
or Ganondorf.
yeah.
Like Link does some pretty badass stuff.
That's cool.
And I think this game proves how like menacing and like powerful Ganondorf is, because
Oh, yeah.
he gets stabbed with the Master Sword, and he dies standing up. He's standing there. He won't even fall to the ground. He's just standing there like, oh, Ganondorf. Oh, you just skipped me. But yeah, so after you kill Ganondorf, then Midna turns into her true self, who is
She's
really
a white
hot.
woman. She's
Yeah.
very
Okay.
white.
Yeah.
She's tall, dark, and handsome.
And then she goes, Midna goes back to her realm, and then she shatters the Twilight Mirror. I think that's
which
what
is
it's called.
like that's it, and it's like the portal to the Twilight
Yeah.
Realm,
Okay,
Yeah.
to prevent the worlds from converging
merging
with each
again. Hmm.
Yeah. And so that is the end of that, and Ganondorf dies. What's
Yeah.
the next game?
It says Four Sword Adventures, but it doesn't seem to be like a very big.
Yeah.
I've never seen the Four Swords Adventures as too much of a plot-oriented game. But
Looks like Ganondorf and Vatsy come back in there.
yeah, and it's
Sounds
just
like a bad day.
yeah.
So, all right. So yeah, the Four Swords adventures happens, and then that's the end of the child era.
Yeah.
And
now.
so now we're jumping over to the adult era. And so basically what happens here is...
This seems strange to me, because the game's listed on here, you're not an adult.
I know, so this is what happens. At the end of Ocarina of Time, you're adult Link, you kill Ganon, but then you go back in time.
Gotcha.
But that realm, that time when you killed Ganon is still going on. Like, it's still, like, that time period is gone. But the adult Link that you were in Ocarina of Time left to go be as a child and return back to his time.
Okay.
So that's where this picks up. The
Gotcha.
next section of games pick up.
So the Link in Wind Waker, is that the same Link?
No, he is a descendant. The
Yes.
Wind Waker Link is definitely a descendant because he's got a grandma and a sister and everything. So,
yeah,
if anything, he's more of a family-oriented Link than any of the others have been.
Yeah, makes sense.
So,
But,
so Ganondorf is sealed, and then he's resurrected again, and he wants the Triforce type of a deal. And so to protect the Triforce, the
Goddess
people
Hylia
play...
was like, "Screw it," and flooded the whole thing.
Yeah,
It's like, I'm tired of this. We're just gonna destroy everything. It's fine.
we're just gonna start over.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's when the Great Flood happened, and everything was drowned.
And Goddess Hylia did that?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So we're assuming she takes breaks between Zelda vessels to be a god again?
Yeah, possibly.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or they coexist with each other, and she just lives through Zelda and things like that. I don't know, something like
And
that.
so, and then
Who
Wind
knows?
Waker happens, which is, I will say it is my favorite. Wind Waker is my favorite game.
Yeah,
That's the
Wind
only other one
Waker's
that I've had
my second favorite, probably.
Good experience with.
Yeah.
And
that
I
is-
owned that on the GameCube and played it a good bit. I don't think I finished it.
And that is also where Cat-Eyed Link comes into play. And he's very animated in the face, and it's funny.
Yeah. Well,
So
I think that.
is this what we refer to as Toon Link in Smash?
Yeah.
It's more or less where that comes from. Gotcha.
Yeah. Less plot oriented and more just style of the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
And so what happens here is that there's a child, like a kid, teenager. I don't know how old he is. Basically, he lives on this
10.
he lives on this island, and then he's playing around with his sister up on the mountain. And there's like this eagle, giant bird thing that grabs his sister and
it's more
takes
like
her
a
away.
peacock thing.
Yeah.
'Cause it's very fabulous.
It is like, ooh, man, the plumage on that bird, man. So then Link ends up running into this pirate gang, and what is her name?
Tetra.
Do you remember her name?
Like,
Tetra.
I remember
Tetra?
quite fondly this game and like just how like fun it was and how interesting it looked. Man.
It's great.
You
I
meet
like the style
Tetra
for
and
this game a
her
lot.
crazy pirate gang of
Yeah,
no
She's-
doers.
The kid. Okay.
she's great. And then that's basically how the adventure starts, because Link wants to go save his sister, and then Tetra is like, why don't you join us? We'll help you, kid. And then they shoot Link out of a cannon into the fort, like Ganondorf's fortress, because
Unknowing,
of course he's
'cause
reappeared.
we don't know Ganon's there. We don't know Ganondorf was there at the time.
It's called the Forsaken Fortress.
Yeah.
That's the place that's.
We just know there's a giant bird that has our sister there, so we have to save her.
Gotcha.
So-
Yeah, and then when we get to the top of that dungeon, quote unquote dungeon area, then that's where we see Ganondorf for the first time in this game.
Yeah. And it's pretty crazy because that's a really big reveal in the game. Of course, we knew Ganondorf was going to be there, or at least in the game.
Right.
But like he's just menacing and just like
Yeah,
that's all. That's the only soundbite he has in the game. But like he just turns and just grabs Link and just like tosses him, like just to show how powerless we are to him at the moment. Because the Master Sword doesn't, or at least the sword he has. I don't think he has a Master Sword yet, but
no.
it's not powered up. That's what it was.
Yeah.
He has the sword, but it's he laughs because it's not at its true power at the moment. It's been in dormancy forever. So he just basically smacks Link and like almost kills him. But then Valoo comes and like breathes fire on everything and like destroys the entire fortress because you had a run-in with him earlier.
Mm-hmm.
And
Interesting.
then you have to go on the hunt to power up the Master Sword. And then you have to find the pieces of the Triforce that you lost, or that was lost in time.
I recall doing that. I recall
That was
that being
the worst minigame
Yeah, it really was. It was
ever
terrible.
had to experience. If only because of the tingle crab. Like, I hated that so much. Going back
What does
and
it
forth.
involve?
So you have to pay like 320 rupees to reveal maps that you have to get from different locations that show you where the Triforce piece is. Then you have to go to that place, get the Triforce piece from the water, and then go back to Tingle, or go get the next map, go back to Tingle to reveal it, go to that Triforce piece.
Rinse and repeat.
And do it 8 times.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I remember
Oh,
that
man,
being
yeah.
the thing that I think I still needed to do. Like, is that the main storyline, or like what? I just remember that being
you
a
have
thing
to
that
do
I
it.
really
Like, you
that I
have to
needed
do it.
to do. Yeah,
to
goodness
progress.
gracious.
Which
Yeah,
is
thinking of
ridiculous.
it.
They actually made
Yeah.
it better in the HD remaster. I think they like cut it down completely and like
Yeah.
made it a lot cheaper and
Yeah,
easier.
and it was much easier and just it was much more enjoyable the second time through.
Because Jesus Christ, that was killer. I hated it so much, but
Right?
but other than that, I mean, it's like my second favorite Zelda. So
Yeah. And then we find out that Terra is Princess Zelda. Well, like that Terra is a descendant of Zelda.
Okay.
yeah,
She's not,
she
she's
she
not
has the goddess Hylia blood
Yeah.
in her, and she has
She's
the
not-
Triforce of Wisdom.
well, she's not pulling a Sheik where she's like pretending to be. Well, she
Well,
is
she
Zelda, but
she is, but she doesn't know that she is.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
She's being hidden by Gabu
Unbeknownst
Gabu
to
and
her.
Valoo and all the other gods of the ocean at the time. And
Interesting.
so
I
she was
also
kind
I
of
really like your boat in this game.
oh yeah, the boat, yeah, that's the King of Red Lions,
Yeah.
or
He's cool.
Daddy
He's more or less your-
Daddy Zelda.
Your companion for the game.
Yeah.
That-
Hey.
But yeah, and so they end up going underneath the water after we get like the piece of the Triforce. We end up going underneath the water where we see the castle of Hyrule.
Frozen in time.
Yep. And it's really cool because when you go in there, there's like enemies and guards and everything, and they're all just frozen.
Yep.
It's cool. It's really cool.
Yeah, they did it really well with that. The ambiance.
Yeah. And then you end up fighting Ganondorf, and he's like dual wielding swords, which is pretty awesome.
Yeah, it looks pretty freaking cool in this game.
Yeah.
And then again, another really cool death for Ganondorf.
Yuck.
Link just jumps on his head and stabs a sword right through his head.
That's so cool.
It is so awesome.
It really is.
Yeah, and then
And then he
the
turns
king-
to stone.
Yeah, and then he turns to stone, and then the king of Hyrule, he ends up releasing the seal, basically, and so the water falls
Yeah.
on,
Refloods Hyrule again.
refloods it. And then that's the end of that.
Yeah. I really liked the Ganondorf in this game because he's a lot more feeling toward. You understand his determination and stuff as you
Yeah.
talk to him through the cutscenes, and even like at the end, it's like the goddesses have frowned upon me for so long and other such things. Like you actually feel bad for him because he's been failing at everything that he's done, and I don't know. It's just the way he talks. It's like, oh, you poor thing. But
I'm sorry I have to do this.
I'm still gonna kill you, though.
yeah, and it's really weird that it was like that was put in Wind Waker because none of the other games really have that. Like that you actually feel bad because Ganondorf is failing so much and like he can't accomplish his goals and stuff.
Yeah.
Because the goddesses have frowned upon him and never, really recognized him for his power, regardless of having the Triforce.
God, that's so sad.
things like
Yeah,
that.
that
It
is
really
really-
is.
It's interesting, and it's interesting that they would choose to put that in this game because it does have a very
Yeah, and like I said, like with Wind
light
Waker, I mean, you don't even
aesthetic.
have that in Breath of the Wild because Breath of the Wild, you just have an entity that is Ganondorf, or
Yeah.
at least is Ganon, and you don't really interact other than fighting
yeah,
and
it's just like some kind of crazy thing that makes
destroying.
monsters.
yeah. But yeah, and that's one of the reasons why I like Wind Waker so much is because there is actually an intricate story in it, and you actually feel for the characters. But yeah, and after that you seal Ganon again, and we go to the weird DS games, which are like Phantom Hourglass and Spirit Tracks.
Yeah, so basically, like, what happens after is Zelda and Link and her pirate friends, they sell off, and they find a new continent, basically, and they start rebuilding Hyrule, like a new Hyrule type of a thing. And that's like Phantom Hourglass, is them basically going and trying to find the new continent and all that stuff.
Interesting.
And then when they find the continent and they start building up this new Hyrule, they find tracks. And they're called Spirit Tracks. Yeah, do you know anything about the Spirit Tracks game?
I didn't play Spirit Tracks. That's the third one I didn't play. I did play Phantom Hourglass, which was okay, but it wasn't great.
Yeah.
And I didn't play Spirit Tracks because
Well, was it that game? Was it Phantom Hourglass, or it might have been Spirit Tracks? But you attacked with the stylus, like you have to like do things on the touchscreen to like do attacks or whatever.
That sounds way,
that does sound
way
familiar,
too
so
intricate.
probably.
Anyway, yeah. So these other two games, they fall into that timeline.
Yeah. So
And this is, I feel, more of a happier era, like
Yeah.
kind of like the
Yeah, it
happiest
seems to be like-
era timeline of the Zelda timeline.
kids growing up with a lot of hope and rebuilding their wonderful kingdom after violently killing the guy trying to take it out.
But on the other hand, people have argued that Breath of the Wild falls under this area as well because of the whole flood thing, and it looks very
Yeah.
spacey enough to actually have had an ocean like covering it and things like that. There's so many ruins and stuff.
That this this might be the new continent they found.
Yeah, or at least it was the old Hyrule that got destroyed.
Gotcha. Interesting. I'm gonna
Because
stick to my guns.
there's so many ruins like among the, and they're never explained.
Yeah.
Like
no.
there's a gigantic desert, which there's usually a desert in the games, but it's like this desert like seemed to be under an ocean, in my opinion at
That's
least.
true.
But like it's so open. Like even the starting area is like a gigantic like risen island. Like it seems like it would be an island.
And that's where the Temple of Time is.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's the Temple of Time.
Yep. So, who knows? Nintendo, give us some information.
They probably know.
Oh no, they totally do. Like, there's like, this happens like right after Ocarina of Time.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do now? There's actually a fourth timeline branch.
Yeah,
What are you gonna
yeah,
do?
Gonna piss off some nerds.
There's a fourth timeline. Oh man, that'd be crazy.
So,
But yeah, that's about that. That's about the
yeah,
entirety of the current timeline.
well done. So,
In a nutshell.
So, and I think, well, let's go on and do favorite games. I think we might have mentioned them throughout the course, but let's sum that up.
Yeah, mine is Majora's Mask, like straight up Majora's Mask, because it's just it's such a turn from Ocarina of Time, and that like there's death everywhere, or at least the feeling of dread and things like that. For example, the masks that you get, each mask lets you transform into another race, like the Deku Scrub and the
Right? Yeah, I was seeing
the
that in
Goron
the book.
and the Zora and so forth. Someone had to die for you to get those. Like, you play the Song of Healing for a spirit that has died, or is dying, and that soul goes into that mask, and you transform into the body of that dead person.
So when you say you play music in this one, do you have an ocarina like you do in Ocarina of Time?
You have different instruments in each form. Like the Deku Scrub has has horns, the Goron has drums, and the Zora has guitar.
Guitar, yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, the ocarina changes with you. But like even then, it's like.
But when you're a Hylian again, you have the ocarina.
It's an ocarina.
Sweet.
I will say that was the first Zelda game that did make me. That game also had some very scary moments.
Oh yeah.
I imagine it's got a very scary aesthetic.
Quite a few of the quests take you into that last like few hours of the game, like before the moon crashes, because the hours last maybe like a minute or two, in real time.
And there's also aliens in that game.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really weird too. Actually.
It sounds. I'm really excited to get to it. Like I'm excited to finish Ocarina of Time and then go get Majora's Mask for the DS and play that.
Yeah, definitely. But like one of the quests in there, like it takes you to the last few hours, and it's like they're two lovers, and they've accepted that the moon is about to crash into Termina, and it's like at least we can be together, for the last few hours of the day.
Yeah.
And hopefully greet the sun in the morning, but if not, at least they, got to embrace once more. And like that, like the first time I did that, I cried.
Wow.
Even
That's
playing
rough.
like the Song of Time, I was like, oh my god, I love it too.
Man,
I'm just getting teary thinking about it, Jesus Christ. But
it's good. Majora's Mask is a great game, and I was very impressed because they made it so quickly. Yes, they used like the same assets from Ocarina of Time.
Yeah, it only took them like 6 months to do.
Yeah, but
Goodness
like
gracious.
it is a crazy like story, and again with all the side quests, kind of like what they accomplished with that game was like they had the 3-day time period. And they also had basically people going about doing their daily life thing, and then you can help them do whatever it is. But you could only help them during like certain times, and if you pass that time, you missed your chance.
Yeah, they each have their own schedule, like how they reacted in each like hour of the day and things like that.
And so like what they were able to do in just like 6 months, it's amazing. It's really cool. They did a really good job with that game.
Yeah.
Goodness gracious.
I would say my favorite is Wind Waker.
Gotcha.
I love the color. I played the HD remake, and it definitely holds up.
The HD remake is for what system?
The Wii U.
Gotcha.
Which will eventually probably be released on the Switch.
On the Switch, yeah. No, definitely.
I hope so. But yeah, and the mechanics, the storyline, the music of Wind Waker, just all of it. It just, oh man, it just it spoke to me.
That's cool.
And it feels it's also strangely relaxing when you're sailing, and then
I really enjoyed sailing when I did it.
Right?
Like, I feel like when I play it again, eventually I'll just be awash in nostalgia for what, because I played it a lot as a kid, like at my cousin's house. When I'd go and spend time over there, and like we would just play together or watch each other play. And it's like I imagine I'll just have a great, calm, peaceful, nostalgic feeling when I play that game again.
Right? And then you've like run to a crack, and then you have to be like, oh man, and you have to kill that thing really quick.
Oh god, this is a sudden storm that came up. What's going on?
Yeah.
How dare you ruin my zen?
But yeah, I would have to say that Wind Waker is definitely my favorite one.
Gotcha. I've played very few, and my favorite's the one that I've finished, which is Breath of the Wild. It's amazing. I still need to play the DLC. I haven't done that yet. I think I'll probably do that after I do Ocarina. Finish Ocarina, and then I'll get back. Because playing Ocarina has just made me want to jump back into Breath of the Wild. And
you guys already reviewed it, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
A couple months
That's
ago
right.
we talked about it. Once I beat the main storyline, we went into it.
One thing I gotta say is it's amazing how much time I put into that game.
Right.
Like on my Switch, it says that I put like 160 or more hours into it.
Yeah, easily.
I was like, whew.
There's so much there, and it's so wide and open. I love that. I love going around and exploring. I love finding crap. It's definitely the game for me. I will put hundreds of hours into games that I really like, and have done that.
And Breath of the Wild 2 is going to be the game of the century.
I agree. It's going to be so freaking cool.
Do you think they're gonna have more story in it.
I really hope
Because-
so. That's
Hopefully so.
the
If
complaint
they're-
that a lot of people have had about
Yeah,
it.
if
so-
they're
Yeah.
listening to their audience, I think that's what they'll do.
And they usually do
Yeah, I
with
agree.
Nintendo games, at least.
But
Game
yeah,
Freak, I
how
can't
they
talk
handled
about,
it,
but-
where it really was open world. Like the only time when it wasn't open world was in the tutorial island,
Right.
like the
And even that was very, very open.
Yeah.
Um,
But then after that, like you can go just try and fight Ganon
Yeah.
if you want.
you can
And
go
I did
anywhere.
that.
Yeah,
That's
I
right,
tried
you
that
did
too.
do
I did not win, but I
I
tried
didn't.
that.
I stayed
I
real
like-
far from that castle. He was just like, you should go east, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna go west, and I just did that. And I feel like the first thing I did was find another shrine, and it was like one of the like major tests of strength,
Oh, God.
which I didn't know anything about because I hadn't gone into anything. So I just walked in and got my butt handed to me.
Obliterated.
And I was just like, well, nope, I'm coming
That's
back.
hilarious.
Yeah,
I loved the thing about Breath of the Wild is that it's very light on the music, but the places where you definitely hear it is when you are like at Hyrule Castle.
yeah, it's
is
good.
when it like
It's
comes
really
in.
intense at
I
Hyrule Castle.
loved that song. I honestly think it's like a remix of one in Ocarina of
I think it
Time.
is.
Yeah, it's,
Because
it's,
it was
it's
familiar
Zelda's
to me.
Lullaby.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
remixed Zelda's Lullaby for it.
Yeah, and oh man, that remix is so awesome.
Yeah, it was really good. Goodness gracious. I'm excited. I'm excited to get back into it. One of the reasons I'm excited is because I really wish they had updated the controls for the Ocarina port that they did for the DS. Jesus.
Well, trust me when I say it's
My-
better than what it was.
I imagine it is. But
It's
like
so much better than what it was. Like, you can't imagine. Like, one of the temples you're going to get to, you'll have to equip and re-equip, or unequip and re-equip the metal boots that you're going to
right.
get.
Yeah, I remember
And
Oh
that.
yeah.
in the original game, you had to actually pause the game, switch to that screen, equip the boots,
yeah.
unpause it, do what you need to do, pause it again, and unequip them and things like that. It's like, it was ridiculous.
No,
And that's why
thank you.
people don't like the water temples, because they had to do so much inventory maintenance.
Right.
And
But also, you get lost. I got lost a lot, and I got confused with where I was in that.
yeah,
temple.
I mean, it can be confusing in the sense of like the hallways and stuff, but I think that a lot of people attribute the frustration wrongly, and I think that the inventory maintenance is one of the worst things about the
Yeah.
game.
That's
So-
fair. Yeah.
It's just like, well, and I guess I didn't have enough real understanding of the game or experience with the game to be able to appreciate that, because like we do now with the DS, there's this little quick touch
Yeah,
screen.
there's a quick equip
Much
function
simpler.
as well,
But, like,
and it's like you just
for
press
me-
that and it's on and off.
Walking around in this game, I have two thoughts when playing this game. One, this must have been absolutely revolutionary and amazing to do and to play when it came out, because
Yeah.
you taking this really well beloved series that'd been around for, I don't know, nearly 20 years at the time, that had just been this 2D world, exploratory world, all in 2D, and putting it into this 3D thing. Like, it must have felt like you are there. Like,
Oh,
it-
yeah.
like I imagine it felt to people then like what Breath of the Wild has felt to us now.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
And-
I agree.
And I was just like, man, that's really cool. Just being able to like, and I can imagine that, and I can still kind of feel that, and it's really cool. But then my other thing is like, man, I wish I could move this camera. I can't, because sometimes you like the best thing you can do is you can readjust the camera to look directly in front of you by hitting L, and then you're also supposed to be able to target stuff, and that is so hit or miss. Like, someone
Yeah.
could be right next to me, and if I'm not looking in their direction, I'm not gonna actually lock onto them, and that
Yeah,
pisses
Z
me off
targeting has always
so
been
much. It's so bad. I mean, like,
It-
give me a way to move my camera free of me. Like, I just there's points where like I'm walking down a corridor and I'll literally run smack into an enemy because I can't see them, because all I can see is Link's butt. Like,
welcome
because the camera
to
is stuck
Zelda.
behind you. I'm like, what? What is going on? I hated it so
welcome
bad.
to Zelda, but
But
it
that's-
gets better. So
But that's kind of the deal with like all old games.
yeah,
Like
the camera
we have
has
the-
always
we
been
have-
an
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, but also
yes.
like we have our nostalgia goggles on because we remember those growing up, because we came out when those
Right.
like we grew up with them basically. And so to go back and then you're like, it just doesn't handle the way I remember
right,
it.
because we've all gotten used to how games handle now. Because
Yeah.
I think we've all taken for granted how good controllers and controlling characters has gotten, and we just forget. Because again, like when Ocarina came out, you were playing on that ridiculous N64 controller that just
You need 3 hands to play.
Oh, it's such a weird controller. I don't
That
understand.
was a weird thing.
It was so strange.
Thank you, Nintendo, for giving us some things.
The weirdest things. Yeah, but like, it's good. It's been fun. It's a good. It's good for me to revisit this game and to actually finish it this time. It's been interesting. And some of the stuff like, here, Link. Here's the way to open the temple door, the door of time or whatever. Make sure you do it when Ganondorf's behind you, so that he can get the Triforce, and then you can go into an immediate 7-year sleep, and he can have all the time he needs to ruin everything. If you could do that for me,
Collapse.
yeah, I'm just like, what? What is going on? I don't. But
Well,
it's,
your
it's
gripes
been good.
are valid. Just to say,
right.
because those are gripes that have been part of the Zelda community for a long time with Ocarina and Majora. Even Majora's, they didn't do very much with the controls with Majora's Mask either.
I
So
imagine
Yeah.
that, yeah. Wow. Anyways,
Legend of Zelda's come a long way.
yeah,
Oh,
it
yeah.
has. Breath of the
Like,
Wild is
Link can jump.
superb.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he can finally
that's
jump.
the other thing. I was walking around and I was like, he seriously can't jump unless he runs off an edge.
Yep.
What is?
that is true.
Or if I Z target or L target and hit A, like, and I'm like, what? It's
Yep.
so weird. I never assumed that was the case because you wouldn't think that looking back, like looking at where we again looking at the past through the knowledge of current games.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, but anyway, that's been great, and thank you for the trip through Zelda. Any other final thoughts on it before we move to our next segment?
I really want Breath of the Wild Majora's Mask.
I agree.
Jesus
I
Christ, please, Nintendo.
I think that would be so
I said this in Breath of the Wild review, but
Yes.
Majora's Mask of Breath of the Wild would be
Yes. A cool,
amazing.
dark twist and dark aesthetic would be
Holy crap, it would be so good.
awesome.
And I mean, they've never really touched on the background of Majora or like the people that created the mask. And I mean,
Right.
there's theories that, you know, Majora's Mask was made by the Twilight people. But since there's like references like of the masks on other things.
that'd be really cool to get a game of Majora
Yeah.
where you just kind of
Yeah.
learn about
Yeah.
Majora.
like
it would
this-
be-
a dark world that
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah, it would be a good opportunity for them to tell us a story and to
it'd be
weave some
so
actual
good.
history.
And
stuff.
that's and that's what Majora's Mask was to Ocarina of Time. Like there was a story in Ocarina, like sages, ceiling, Ganondorf,
Yeah.
blah blah blah. But Majora's Mask had its own, like, it was told through the characters, and the characters all had different things and stories that you had to learn about.
I feel like we're like psyching ourselves up like Star Wars fans
For
did
something
right
that's not
before
going
the
to
last
happen.
Star Wars movie.
but the thing is Majora's Mask, like the mask, is so iconic.
Yeah.
Like people have made like amazing short videos, like completely CG, like video.
I've seen like an animated video.
and
yeah.
people will like make Majora's masks, and it's just like the Majora's Mask is an icon of Zelda.
Right.
Yeah.
You know,
And
like the Triforce or the Master Sword. You know,
And it's something that's never been expanded upon as much
Yeah,
as the
it's
others.
just
and
a
it's
game. which is
ridiculous.
crazy. Yeah.
It's like, how did the Happy Mask salesman get it? Who
Right.
knows?
And I think
Who
this
is
would be
he?
This would be a great time to expand upon that when you have the attention of every Zelda fan who's
Oh,
ever
man.
kind of
Not
existed.
and new Zelda fans. Like
Yes,
there's so
yeah.
many people that have never played a Zelda game
yes.
play Breath of the Wild. It's
So, yeah,
ridiculous.
this would be a good time to do that. So, and I think they know that. I hope.
Oh
they
yeah,
do.
I think they do too. And I think the next game is going to be one of the best games of all time. Like period.
Yeah, I
like,
agree.
I'm super excited for the future of Zelda.
Cool. Anything else from your end, Nick?
no, I'm good.
All right. I think we'll move into our next segment where we'll talk about recommendations. This is called What You Should Be Watching or Reading or Playing. Whatever. We're working on it. But next segment.
What you should be nerding out to.
What you should be nerding out to. So since since we last potted, I've actually watched a lot of stuff. So I watched the first Deadpool movie.
Nice.
Just because
Not as bad as you thought it was going to be, is it? Was it?
It's it's not amazing, but it's also not as bad as I thought it was going to be. His jokes land with me only half the time, and some of the stuff in it, I'm just like, this was entirely unnecessary. Like,
yeah,
just like, why?
It was pleasantly surprising for me. Deadpool was. I enjoyed it.
The thing I like about it the most, and that helped me remember what I like, is that I really enjoyed just seeing other characters in the X-Men universe. Mm-hmm. Because despite how hit and miss the X-Men movies really are, I love it when we get to see more characters in them. Because I really like the X-Men. I really like a lot of the stories that we can tell through them and all the different characters we get to see in that we don't get to see in any other movies from Fox or from Sony or from Marvel. So, like, I just enjoy getting to see them. And so, like, it was really cool to see Colossus having a lot of speaking parts and walking around and doing stuff and fighting. And it was really cool to see freaking Negasonic Teenage Warhead and Ajax and his female person, Angel. It was just cool. And I love watching him fight. Like, he fights really well, and it's just cool. There were a lot of really good redeeming qualities to it, and I'm just kind of excited for the next one. So, and one of my friends freaking works at Fox, and he's been psyching me up about it, and he's really excited for the next Deadpool movie.
That good advertisement from
he's already
friends.
Seen it twice, so I'm just like, like, yeah, okay.
I might see it. Who knows?
Yeah, I'll probably see it.
I'm excited for it. I'm excited for Deadpool too. I've always been a fan of the I can't think of the word. What's the word? The media presence, the advertising.
Okay.
That they've done.
Yeah, the marketing of it.
Yeah, the marketing. Mm-hmm. That's it. Like in the first Deadpool movie, when they were marketing it and everything, the billboards. They had a couple billboards which were great. One was emojis, just all emojis, was fantastic. Then they made another one where they had the pre-Deadpool Ryan Reynolds and his girlfriend from the movie like embracing each other, and it said, oh, what did it say? Anyways, it made it look like a rom-com, like a romantic movie.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
I'm like, oh, that is amazing.
And they do the same thing in some of the recent trailers. I don't know which trailer it is, which number it is, but like one of the trailers is like, from the production company that brought you 27 dresses. Yeah. And I'm just like, yes, that's so good. It's just a callback to that joke they made in marketing in the first place. I like that a lot. I do like that. I kind of enjoy his meta-ness, his awareness of himself.
That I don't like very much. I don't like the fourth wall wall.
I think it's overplayed now and dumb. I honestly do think that, but like it's interesting that we've gotten someone to represent that for the comic book,
I suppose,
community on the big screen. I enjoyed that the after credit sequence was him doing the Ferris Bueller thing.
Yeah.
Like, that was just funny to me. I loved that. And so, but I mean, like, it does get annoying. It's annoying and stupid and dumb most of the time, but I find it okay a couple of times when he does it. So, like, again, it's hit or miss with me. But I will see the next one. I'm excited, because especially the prospect of we're gonna have a lot more characters in this next one. I'm super excited for that. So, yeah. What else? So I've watched 2 DC animated films. I watched Justice League versus.
To take a nap.
Okay, whatever.
Just kidding.
I watched Justice League versus Teen Titans, and I watched Teen Titans Judas Contract.
Teen Titans.
Yeah, and so good points. I enjoy the animation style. I enjoy because they're animated in a very like sort of like Young Justice type way, and this current. I like the current aesthetic for the DC animated films. It looks good. It's done well. The voices were cool. I like the animation style, but like some of it, both of these movies are rehashes of things that we've already more or less seen in the Teen Titans animated series that was on Cartoon Network. So Teen Titans versus the Justice League, or Justice League versus the Teen Titans, is telling the story of Raven and her father Trigon. And I'm like, we've done this already, and a lot of people already know this. And I'm just like, why can't we do anything new? Like, do something new with these things. Like, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Also, there's a ridiculous, there's like a magical girl-esque transformation sequence in that movie.
Interesting.
Where they get like, because they're all at like a freaking carnival, and then like some bad guys attack, and so they take the time to show them transforming from their like civilian clothes into their actual like superhero alter egos. And I'm like, what? Like look it up. Like, take time after this. Type in Starfire transformation sequence.
Oh, well, if it's Starfire, then it makes sense.
Well, it's not just her. It was kind of funny and oddly self-aware when it was her doing it, and I was like, why are they doing this? None of these characters are like this. Like, none of these characters are Deadpool. None of them need to be doing this. And then after that, we see Beast Boy do it again, do the same thing, and Blue Beetle do the same thing. And I'm like, what? Why are we magical girls or Power Rangers? Like, that's not at all what these are. What happened? Like, I showed it to my fellow interns at work, and they're like, yeah, this is what happens when weebs get jobs. Like, it's just...
It's funny because it's true.
Yeah, it really is. I'm just like, what is this? What's going on?
What's on this storyboard? Why are there sparkles on
just we thought we'd have a transformation sequence. Their animation doesn't like.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, let's do it.
Those are very hot right now.
What?
Never been done before.
So strange. Yeah, I was like, what? And then the Judas Contract is the story of Tara and her terrible, abusive, weird Stockholm Syndrome infused relationship with Deathstroke, aka Slade. Another thing we've seen already on the Teen Titans series on Cartoon Network, and I believe both of them were done adequately well in that series, and we didn't need to see either of them here, and it just sucks because I know how it's going to end. Like, I know what's going to happen with Tara. I know she's going to turn on the team. I know she's secretly with Slade. I know she's going to hate Slade by the end of it, and she's going to sacrifice herself for the betterment of the team, and she's going to die or turn to stone. Either way, that makes the same difference. And that's exactly what happens. And I'm like, come on. Like, give me something else. Give me a
new season of Teen Titans isn't going to happen, Ethan.
No, I know that. No. I don't need that. But if we're gonna do more Teen Titans stuff, let's make some original stuff with it. Like, the only thing really original about this, or different from the show, is the cast. Like, we've got 4 of the members of the Teen Titans from the show are in these movies as Teen Titans, but one of them with a variation on one. Like, we have a Robin in this one, but it's Damian Wayne. But we also have Dick Grayson, the original leader of the team, the original Robin. He's just Nightwing now. And then we have Blue Beetle in the place of Cyborg. But Cyborg even shows up in the Justice League versus the Teen Titans and kind of hangs out with them for a bit anyway. So I'm just like, why go over the same stuff? You know what I mean? But hopefully they're doing that so they can move forward. Because like the end of the most recent one, which is the Judas Contract, they get a new member of the team to replace Tara, which is Wonder Girl. And I'm like, sweet, that's great. Let's move on with that. Let's do some more with that, because I think she had a brief stint in the show on TV, but it wasn't anything super significant. So it'd be cool to see more with her and get more stuff done that way. But what I'm really trying to say is I'm super ready for Young Justice Season 3. Did you ever watch Young Justice, Nick?
Yeah. Yeah, Young Justice is really good.
It's really good.
Yeah.
Hey, Eddie, you should watch Young Justice.
I'm checking it right now.
Our boy Nolan North is in it.
Nolan North. What is he?
He's in like almost every video game nowadays. He's in his most famous stuff is playing Nathan Drake in the Uncharted series.
Oh, gotcha.
He's also the Penguin in the Batman Arkham series.
Yeah. What is he in Young Justice?
Young Justice, I think he's Superboy.
Oh, so he's Connor.
Yeah, Connor.
Yeah, that's what his name is.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, Young Justice is
Super
good.
Bowl.
I'm also excited for season 3.
Yeah, that's
Young
gonna
Justice.
be. I'm super excited. I think that's about it for me. I'd say if you're a fan of the DC animated films and you're a fan of the Teen Titans, those movies are worth a watch. There's nothing new in them, just so you know. And obviously, I think if you've probably seen Deadpool already, if you're a fan, so do that. Other than that, I don't think much else has been new on mine as far as entertainment. I'm still reading my webtoons, but
Hooray, webtoons.
webtoons are great. Do that. What about you, Eddie? What should people be nerding out on?
Well, I'm on the last episode of Lost in Space, which has been fabulous.
Cool.
So
I've been watching
should
that.
be
It's
watched.
good. I think I'm on episode 5 right now.
I still haven't peeled past the first episode. I got 30
Yeah,
minutes in,
gotta watch
got
it.
interrupted, and
something
never
I've
went back.
seen with Teen Titans. I've already seen.
Look, I hadn't already seen them. Look.
But that's been fun. I've seen. I watched the first episode of the Westworld season 2, so I have to
How's
continue with that. It was
par?
convoluted as it usually is with the first season, but
Right. But is
yeah, it was good. I enjoyed it.
For me, I feel less invested in it than I was season 1. And so I don't know. I'm hoping by at least episode 4 they're gonna bring in like not a twist but like a question, because the first season was like, who is a robot, who's not a robot,
Right.
and it's kind of escalated from there. And this one, there's not really any mystery right now. It's just like kind of stuff's happening, which is fine. I mean, it is a continuation of the first season. And so we're like we've gone to like the robots are now rebelling type of a deal.
Gotcha. Interesting.
And so not like there just isn't a mystery aspect of it yet, and so
Well,
which is fine.
I'm interested in it either way, so I'm going to continue watching it. And there is also a new series that just came out called Cobra Kai.
Yes.
I've heard
Which
of that. I
looks
haven't watched any
interesting.
of it.
It has like 100% rating after 28 reviews on Rotten Tomatoes. And I looked
Sweet.
into it, and I was like, oh, it's an actual continuation of
Yeah,
the Karate
it
Kid.
is. Yeah.
I did not know that. I didn't know. It was a
I'm actually
thing.
planning on watching it this weekend. I'm going to binge that one.
Yeah,
Cool.
I'm probably
You
gonna
have to
watch
get
it too.
YouTube Red to watch all of it.
But what you can do,
You
Do
get the
you,
free
though?
trial.
get the
right?
free trial,
Do
and then
you,
just
though?
cancel your
Eddie.
subscription.
Adjusts eye patch. But yeah, I mean, it's gotten a lot of good reviews, so I'm probably gonna watch that soon.
You playing any games right now, Eddie?
Final Fantasy 14.
No, that's right. Yeah.
Well, that I actually haven't been playing that. I've been playing Stardew Valley multiplayer because
That's
that's been
right.
eating up my time forever, and because I get to play with friends now, so that's been fun.
Cool.
Other than that, not much. Just 14 and Stardew at the moment. I'm looking into getting Hollow Knight and Nier Automata.
Ooh, Nier Automata is amazing.
Yeah,
Cool.
I've heard, and the music's great, which
Yeah.
I've listened to already. So I'm like, yes, please,
Yeah.
give me.
And I really want to play Hollow Knight. That game looks like a lot of fun.
I hear good things all around.
So I'm probably gonna get those 2 games next. And yeah,
Sweet.
that's about it on my plate.
Nick, you been nerding out to
Sick.
anything?
Oh boy, a lot. Okay, so there's a Netflix show called, I think it's like Retsuko.
Gretsuko.
Yeah.
Gretsuko. Yeah,
Gretsuko.
yeah.
We were talking
Have you
about
guys-
that last week.
Yep.
I've
Yeah.
watched
Okay,
it.
you guys. Okay, you guys.
So
did
I
watch that.
haven't
It's great.
officially
I
watched it
love
from start to finish, but I've seen the vast majority of it, and Eddie's seen all of it.
Yep. And it's
I've seen it too.
It's
Isn't it great?
hilarious. It's really funny.
It's so good.
It is so good. I love it.
I just wish the episodes were longer, or at least there were more of them.
Right.
Right.
I would say more of them because I like the length.
Yeah,
It's really nice.
and that's why I
Yeah.
corrected myself. I would
Breezy.
prefer more episodes
Yeah.
because the
I
15
imagine they'll
minutes
do
is
more.
pretty
It's
good.
gotten a pretty good response, yeah?
Yeah, I think that's what they were doing. I'm pretty sure they were like testing the waters
Testing the waters,
because
yeah.
it's definitely like it's a spin-off of Hello Kitty characters. So
Yeah.
Oh,
It's like-
speaking of Netflix, here's a question for you, Nick. Do you watch Voltron?
No.
Gosh
I
darn it,
don't.
no one watches.
But the thing is, like, no, I've heard nothing but good stuff, and I've had many people say I should watch it.
Yeah, I'm one of them. You should watch it.
But yeah, I just haven't. I'm sorry.
Oh man.
Yeah, so there's that. I do recommend Megalobox, that anime.
Yeah, I've heard good things.
Oh right, the boxing anime.
It's good. It's very good.
Cool.
I'm also watching Darling in the Drax. That's also a good one.
Is that an anime?
Yeah, it's an anime.
Gotcha.
It's from the same people that made oh shoot, what is that? I keep drawing blanks right now. I am so
Okay.
sorry.
No, what's the anime about?
Trust me, we do that a lot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a lot. Like
Okay, it is.
listen to our episodes.
It's Kill a Kill.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Same
really?
people that did Kill la Kill.
It's
And
it's
Gurren
from
Lagann.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. It's from that same studio and that same director and I think writer. I could be wrong, so
Might
I'm
actually
sorry
have
if
to
I
look
am.
into that.
No, it's okay.
Um,
None
What's
of
it
us will
called
check
again?
it. No one will let you know.
Darling in the Drax.
Darling in the Drax.
Because I did
it's-
like Kill la Kill a lot.
It's a mecha anime,
Oh,
but it
never mind.
Eddie signed
but
up.
it's
Never mind.
but it's very interesting. The mechs they're piloted by like teenagers, by kids. And what it is they okay, it's not sex, but they get like they put on suits and everything, and then the girl, she like bends over and gets like in a bent over position, and then like these handlebars kind of fling up from like her hips, and the boys like kind of grab onto that, and that is how they're piloted.
That's so strange.
It is okay.
Hard pass.
That's so, but I mean, like, I mean, we say that like Kill la Kill wasn't
Super like
like
sexual.
fan art.
Yeah.
I mean, there wasn't straight up like
but here's the
positions
thing.
of sexual nature in it.
Right.
It's good though.
Okay. I'll take you on it. You watching that
well,
magical
well,
girl
because,
audio?
because in this world it's these kids they don't know what it's like to be like actual children. Like they were raised to pilot these
Right on.
machines to protect basically like this city that's in a moving machine. Yeah, basically
It sounds like a lot of mecha anime, to be honest.
yeah, it is.
Your typical dystopian mecha.
But it's good. It's
Okay.
that's a good one. And also another Netflix show that I'm watching is pretty good. It's called Be the Beginning. I think it's like supposed to be Killer Bee.
I've
the
heard
Beginning.
of it. Yeah, I kind
That-
of want to go into it, but I haven't watched any of it yet.
It's good. Some people online are saying it's the new Death Note.
Interesting.
As of right now, I
It'd
wouldn't
have to
go,
be pretty gosh darn good.
Yeah, I wouldn't go that far into it. I haven't finished it, so I
Right.
don't know. But as of right now, I wouldn't go that. I wouldn't say that.
Okay.
But it's that's a good. It's a good cop supernatural show.
Is
Okay.
it animated or is it?
It's an anime.
Yeah, it's an anime.
Yeah, it's a Netflix original anime. Yeah, so I'll say those: Megalobox, Darling in the Drax,
Be the beginning.
Agretsuko,
Oh, Gretsuko, yeah.
yeah, Agretsuko, and yeah, Be the Beginning.
Be the beginning. Gotcha.
I would recommend those.
That's cool. Sweet. Woo.
Been almost going 2 hours, Ethan.
What's that? Yeah,
So
I know.
we've almost been going
We've been
for
doing
2
this for a
hours.
very long time, going back to the old heyday whenever we did really long episodes. So, sorry, listeners, but thank you for anyone who's made it this far. We very much appreciate you listening. We're gonna go ahead and
You're
bring it
awesome.
to a close. Yes, you are amazing. Thank you for listening. Remember to tell a friend, share it, give us a like, a comment, subscribe, all those things, wherever you are, whatever you choose to listen to this on. You can find us and talk to us on Twitter at TMYKPod. We're also on Facebook at TMYKPod, or Those Nerds You Know. Search us, you'll find us. We're on YouTube as well. You can find the pod on iTunes and Google Play, Podbean, Stitcher, Castbox, and a lot of places that you can find pods. You will find us. That's about it. But write in, let us know what your favorite Zelda game is. Let us know if you're looking forward to this next Zelda game, what you think it might be. Give us your projections. Tell us where you think, which timeline you think Breath of the Wild falls in, and defend yourself such But let us know. Once again, thank you so much for listening. My name is Ethan.
I'm Eddy.
And I'm Nick.
And we are those nerds you know.
Bye.